Hello, everyone. Welcome to Norton Man Reviews. I am your host, John the Norton Man. I don't know if I like that. We'll see if that sticks. So, let's talk about Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, and this lady, Echo. She has a show, her own show coming out on Disney Plus. I've yet to watch it. She showed up in Hawkeye on Disney Plus. I actually really enjoyed that Hawkeye series. It was just a good little self-contained story, had some good stuff in it, and I like how they portrayed her. But this is her first appearance. So Daredevil at this point, so this is the second main story of like kind of the revival of like some interest in Daredevil. Joe Quesada and some other people were doing. They were given a few titles to do whatever they want, write, do some art on. It was Daredevil, it was Inhumans, it was Punisher, and Black Panther. And so the first storyline was done by Joe Quesada with art, and he brought along Kevin Smith as the writer. And I wanted to do that story first before I did this, because there's some stuff that bleeds over from that story, but I wanted to do this since that Echo TV show is coming out. The second story after Kevin Smith finished, they got David Mack to do the writing. Now, David Mack is... he did some stuff called Kabuki, which I have never read. I have a friend who was really into David Mack and the Kabuki stuff that he did. It was not your traditional comic book kind of storyline. I can't even begin to try to explain what Kabuki was like, but it had just a style to it that no one besides David Mack could do. Ugh, stupid watch. So they brought David Mack on just to do the writing, and he talks in here in the introduction about how he had never written a story or characters that weren't his own creations. So it was kind of a daunting experience to write Daredevil. But he goes in to talk about how the Frank Miller Daredevil stuff was some of his first introduction to comics, and wanted him to do art in or write in a visual way, like comics are done. So he took on the role, and Joe Quesada continued to do art. He doesn't do this whole thing like towards the end. They get a different artist to do some stuff, but so it's a kind of cool combination of David Mack's writing and his. He somewhere talks about it's with Joe Quesada's art and him willing to do things in the way that David Mack had written, and David Mack had given him some, not pointers telling him how to draw, but some suggestions on layouts and stuff like that, because David Mack had a very specific way he wanted the character portrayed. Now, we'll get into it, but Echo, essentially, Daredevil is the man without fear, and he's blind, right? That's his whole thing. So he's blind, so all his other senses, especially his hearing, are amplified. And that makes him a superpowered hero. Echo, she's deaf. She cannot hear anything, but for whatever reason, I don't remember why, I don't think she was hit by radioactive acid in her ear hole. But she can basically duplicate any other action that she sees. We'll talk about that as we get in. So it's kind of like a reverse of what Daredevil can do. But there's some romantic shit going on between them. And I know Daredevil is going to be part of Echo. And I think I just read that the Daredevil TV shows with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, those awesome seasons of Daredevil, are canon now. I guess we'll find out when the show comes on. So let's jump into it. I'm going to do the best I can. It's been a while since I've read the story, so I may not go over all of the plot points, because it's really hard to describe in a format like this, but I'll do my best. Some cool art by Quesada. He's a tremendously good artist. And I think he tries to emulate some stuff that David Mack does even later. And I don't know if we'll get to it because I'm going to split this up into 2 issues. I'm not going to go through this entire book. 2 episodes. But some of the art that Quesada does, I think some people thought that David Mack had done himself, but that's not the case from my understanding. And David Mack puts a little note upon this that this is dedicated to his father, whose name is Wilson. And him and his brother had always called their dad Kingpin. And they say a lot of the details in the story came from actual memories of his father and events from his own childhood. So that's cool. This is a David Mack cover. This is a painting he did. I'm almost positive. He's a tremendously good artist in his own right. He could have probably done this book himself, and people would have loved it. So, God, you can't read all this, but it's this thing where you have to rotate the comic here to read everything. It goes in a circle, it's spiraling around. And it's just some inner monologue of Daredevil's thing. It's like, it'd be easy to get to sleep when you can't see anything, but because of all of his other senses, like, it's even harder. Like, he can hear everything, he can smell everything. He details, like, someone shot a BB hole through the window. I'm trying to read it upside down. There's a mouse running around, blah, blah, blah. Every creak is an explosion. So, I mean, look at, like, this is some cool fucking art. You have to get it really close. Like, look at these, like, detailed, tiny pictures. And, like, note from Dad, study your law books, blockhead, says right there. And it says up here, Karen, I will miss you. Karen Page. She, spoilers, I'm sorry, but she died in the last volume by Kevin Smith and Quesada. So, you're like, you must be dreaming or something down here, right? There's some stuff down here. Shed my skin. Like, that's... I shed it here. Crimson like my second skin. Shed my skin. Yeah, just weird words, like, everywhere. You have to read this book in a different way. I don't want to be a fighter like... I don't want you to be a fighter like me, son. So... Oh boy, it's hard to get everything, to show everything in this format. So I apologize if you don't see everything. Like, look at all this shit. So, I mean, Matt Murdock, he's talking, he's inner monologuing to himself. He's playing a piano here. I mean, again, beautiful artwork by Quesada. He really knows his craft, right? He kind of goes over, like, he can smell things, he can hear things, and he likes to play the piano. I mean, he's blind, but he can still hear. He has these, I mean, here's the credits, David Mack, Joe Quesada, all that thing. He has the music notes that are raised, like in a Braille thing. Present from my old girlfriend, must have been Karen Page. But he talks about how he doesn't need the Braille pages. He can hear it. He can reproduce it pretty well. Some cool shots of, like, the hands playing the piano. I think Quesada's always been really good at drawing hands. And this figure, you know, here he is down here playing the piano, and you see, like, the music notes. I don't know what you call that. The you know, the lines here, whatever you call that in music. Showcasing that, you know, music is playing, but each note represents something. You know, he's putting his own emotions. You know, you can see, like, boxing gloves and boxer like his dad used to be. There's him getting into fights. There's the radioactive shit that caused him to be Daredevil right here. There's, like, the nun stuff, the you know, the religious stuff from his youth, law books. Somebody's dead. Was that his dad? I don't know. His glasses, his lawyer, his first time as Daredevil, another coffin. Is that Elektra? I don't know. Daredevil. You know, like, just, those are all so cool. And basically, he's writing, you know, he's playing the music and he's, like, you know, putting his life and his emotions into it. He talks down here, I hear something else drift through the window, something lighter than a feather, and this woman's face, like just even as simple drawing as these lips, just look really good. Not too much definition on the nose, just 2 lines. That would be hard. You're a good artist when you know not to overdraw something. I think I would probably put more details in that nose, but he just did line there, line there. They put some shading there, but that's when you know like less is more. But that was Black Widow. Black Widow and Matt Murdock had a relationship or a flirty thing, and she's basically coming here to say like, I know you're having a hard time, especially Karen Page had died. She's just being there for him. She was in the Kevin Smith story too, for a little bit. And then he's saying like, I think I've made peace through it, and then the wind blows and I half expect her to walk through the room. So he's not over her death, right? And then here it says, she says, I'm here if you need to talk. I keep playing, and then she's gone. So she goes out the window. Good layouts and design. And I don't know if that's Quesada doing that or if it's like David Mack making suggestions in his writing. So, and now he's like blowing off steam. He's wrapping up his hands there. He's, going at the punching bag. Still sad about the whole thing with Karen Page. He's just, a sad, sad man. And then I think they were fired from their lawyer job, but they're trying to make their own firm. And I think that's what they're going here to this building. If you see on this wall, there's some kind of cool stuff written on here. Over here it says Kabuki Rocks. Devin and Mark, I don't know who that is. Who Watches the Watchmen? Obvious Watchmen stuff. Jinx, I don't know what that is. Billy is the man. Is that, I thought he would be talking about Bill Sinkovich. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I know David Mack and him are pretty tight. I don't know if that's in reference to that. Right there next to him, you see it says Frank was here, Kevin was here, David is here, where are you? So Frank Miller did Daredevil, Kevin Smith did Daredevil, David Mack is doing Daredevil. Like, who's next? Pretty sure it's Brian Michael Bendis is next. Jay and Bob, Quinn, those are some Kevin Smith references. So basically, even though he's sad, he needs to get back to work. So they are able to, through whatever money, I think they said Karen left them some money, Karen, even though she's dead, and they were able to rebuild this building and get their firm going. So that's good for them. Now, this is the first time that you see Echo here. And again, the hands mirroring what Daredevil did earlier. Crazy Horse, I think that's her last name. And there's, again, a lot of words going up here. You have to turn it. Let's see. That's why I hit the key so hard. I just feel the vibration, the physical echo. Echo, echo, echo. That's her name, Echo. And it gets into a little bit of her history and talking about her. She says, when my father died, so her dad died when she was a kid, his business partner sent her to an expensive school. It was for children with learning disabilities. And down here, it talks about they brought in a pianist, someone to play the piano for the children. And she was just like so enamored by it. Here it is, like her teacher, this little kid's drawing, yelling for me to sit down. But she just has to watch this guy's fingers. And once he finishes, she gets on the piano and she was able to duplicate everything he did with precise, with exact precision. I'm sorry. And then people were like, what the fuck, according to these pictures. And then they sent her to another school, a more expensive school for prodigies. So she was playing a concert here. Like, this is cool. She's remembering, when her dad was killed, I guess. She can read lips. I can perceive and replicate even the most minute muscle innotation. So basically, since she can reproduce, like playing the piano, she can also read people's lips exactly, and she can reproduce it. So she doesn't have a speech impediment or a slur. How most people who are deaf, since they can't hear themselves, they are not able to speak as, I don't know the term for it or anything like that, but they just slur their speech a little bit because they can't hear themselves. But she can't do that. She can speak perfectly because of how she's able to do it. And then she's talking. She can feel the vibrations of everybody applauding. She likes audiences. And she can feel one hand in particular, which is Kingpin, just because of the sheer mass and force. So she knows that he's there. Oh, God. So it goes back to Matt and Foggy, and they got this this guy, they say like they barely, like the paint isn't even dry on their door when some guy comes in. He needs help, and he cannot speak where you can understand it. Mada an kikima. I am not even gonna go on. You're like, you have the promi. And Foggy's like, I didn't catch a word of that. But Daredevil, because of his hearing, he was able to, like, he knows exactly what he said. He said that the Kingpin has a contract on him because he learned something he wasn't supposed to. And he has information to put the Kingpin away forever, but he's scared. We have to guarantee and promise his safety. But outside, there's a scope and a gun looking at Daredevil. And before Daredevil can react, he hears a sound, and a bullet comes through the window, hitting him somewhere around the eye cheek with his glasses, and it's going right for this guy, and it hits him. Bam. Now, is that his hair? Is that the guy's hair? Was he wearing a toupee? I don't know. Daredevil's talking, I don't know, inner monologuing like he does, but he's like forcing himself to get up. He's hurt, but he's forcing himself to get up. That's a cool image of him getting into his Daredevil outfit. Goes back to Maya. She's doing something different. She's talking about how she's watched some videotape of fighters, and she's in, you can kind of tell she's in a fight, like a boxing ring, and then her memories are showing these old, it's portrayed as little kid drawings. And again, talking about her dad she was happy with until her dad was killed by somebody. But she had looked at some boxing footage, so she had emulated Muhammad Ali. I do a Leonard footwork and then end it with a De La Hoya finish. So all these like famous boxers. And yeah, she was fighting this guy and beat the fuck out of him. And again, she has an audience. And again, Kingpin is there. So it goes back to Daredevil. He's in his costume and he's going after the guy who shot at them. I don't know what all this is saying. So somebody's on the phone here, and this is the guy who took the shot. And he talks strange. He says, "Dead as a doornail." He says, "A stitch in time saves 9. Abracadabra, double or nothing." Anyway, so Daredevil comes out of nowhere. That's a cool shadow as he's coming down. The ground, it's hard to tell what's going on in there. But this, he's going after the guy who shot. And they fight. He pulls out a gun. He shoots at him. He knocks the guy. I don't know. He crashes into some debris and stuff. He's shooting at Daredevil. It's missing him as he's running away. He's counting the shots. Duck, dodge, dip. He's doing all the things that Daredevil does. There's a lot of D's. Flipping around. he gets close to him. He's like, click, 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 like out of bullets, because Daredevil was counting the bullets too, he said. And he knew that he was out. Takes him out. And then still more fighting over here. And Kingpin is talking to somebody, and he's talking, I think this is Maya, this is Echo behind him. You're impressive always, your father would be proud, he's telling her, so it's coming back and forth. And then somebody, he takes this guy out, but somebody behind him shoots. I like these little drawings, man. That's cool right there, like the motion and the anatomy and everything. Hey, Rusty, are you back? But then there was another guy, and it looks exactly like him, so they're twins. Daredevil throws his billy club, hits him on the head, bounces up to hit this, and he's going to shoot him again, I guess. But, you know, the billy club hit the ladder up here above his head, and it comes crashing down on him. So he took out that guy. Daredevil, he picks up the phone that these guys were using, and he knows it's Kingpin. He says, I know it's you. I'll take you to court. And he hangs up. So a lot of words here. I'm not going to get into it all. But yes, he was talking to Maya, and you know what she can do. She's a fighter. She can emulate stuff by, you know, just visually. He says, I need a favor of you. And that's the end of the first issue. So we'll go right into the next the next part 2, Echoes, Parts of a Whole. David Mack story, Joe Quesada art. Cool stuff with the puzzle pieces up here. Hey, buddy. Yeah, you just want all the love. Don't hit the camera. Oh. Hi. So we go back and still these puzzle pieces design, and again, so many words. Talking. I mean, it's not useless information, but it's just it's hard to like. I'm not going to like read it word for word, and there's so much on here. But you find out that he's in the hospital. He checked himself in because he did get hurt. And he sees this guy, and he's like, it's that guy that was in our thing, but he got shot. He's like, he can't be here. What is going on? Is like Daredevil hallucinating? What is happening here? Okay, Rusty, I got you. Turn the page. So he's back. He's hitting the boxing, the bag. Oh my God, so many words. I don't even know like where to start, what's going on, how to explain everything. Rusty, get the fuck out of the way. So it goes back, I mean, it cuts to Maya. That's her name, right? Is it Maya? I can't remember. She's walking through... and apparently she's hot enough for like car crashes to happen. So move, Rusty. Then it goes to Foggy, and he's I don't know what he's doing. They're talking. It's like, I'm happy that you're here. I thought you were dead. He's like, no, I'm not dead. But then, as they're like talking to each other, Maya shows up. Is that her name, Maya? I'm just gonna call her Echo. Where does it say her name? God, I'm stupid. But she comes in on them. She's like, am I interrupting anything? It's like, no. How can we help? It's like, I don't have an appointment. I'm deaf, so I didn't call. So she can speak, but she can't. If she doesn't see the voice, like your lips, she can't hear you. So phone call is pointless. She wants to talk with Murdoch. Is he your boyfriend, the one who just ran off? No. I'm not gay. I got a case of the not gays. just so you know. So then she like goes in, she sees his piano, and she's like all excited about it. He's like, "Don't go in there," but she just runs in there, and it's like even though he yells at her not to go in, she can't see him, so she doesn't hear, right? But she just sits down, she starts, fingering the keys. And she says it's broken. He says, "I know." And he tells her that he's blind. So this is the first time that Matt Murdock and Echo meet. And why is she here? I have a performance at NYU tomorrow morning. Meet me afterwards and we'll talk over coffee. It's in regards to Wilson Fisk. Like the Kingpin. So she's, I don't know, like good-looking woman shows up to you and has information about Kingpin. I'd run the other way, fucking Daredevil. It's probably another Elektra or Typhoid Mary thing. Like, come on, Daredevil. I know you think with your dick, but fuck. All right, so more cool designs. Daredevil running along. Oh my god. I really if you're here to like really want to know about what's going on with the story, I really apologize that I just don't have. I can't explain all this, but he's looking for Daredevil. It's just, and these are just such cool art, and like the layout and the designs are so good. That picture of Daredevil there, I just love. So he's trying to dig up some dirt about why the guy was shot. He knows Kingpin is evolved. Daredevil is doing his stuff. And it goes to... how they never say her name. Why do I not know her name? It has to be... Oh! What is her name? Whatever. But she's watching some ballerinas, and she's, mimicking that. And she's going to put on another performance. And then Kingpin is there, and she says, "I need you to tell me about my father." So, when her dad was killed, her dad's business partner, which was Kingpin, like looked after her, made sure she was in good schools. Just, he's like a father figure to her now. So she wants to know more about, tell me about my father again. He was a good friend. He was my friend and business partner. They said they called him Crazy Horse because he was Cheyenne, I think it was because he was crazy. Oh, that's racist. Or not. I don't know. She wants to know who killed him. And he said, yes, 20 years ago, it was my oldest enemy, the one who spreads lies about me. He was trying to kill me, and your father took the bullet. So he says, someone killed your father. I know who did it. It was one of my enemies. He is called Daredevil. What? And that's why I came here with some photos. And he has some pictures of Daredevil getting into this does that happen back here? I can't tell. I mean, he does get into a safe here. Let's see, this would be better if I had read it. But he has some footage of him going into this safe, and he pulls out this gun. And supposedly this gun was the one that was... it was never found at the crime scene, but I guess this is the gun that she thinks killed her dad. This was the gun that was used. So look at this art. This is some awesome Quesada art. Get it. That might have to be the thumbnail for this. I don't know, something like this. The scratchiness he did of this. I know I copied this just in a sketchbook with a ballpoint pen once, just trying to emulate this. It's just so good. He goes to the traditional comic book stuff to this kind of art. And the colorist, you got to give it to the colorist too. Did a good job. Richard Eisenov. Inks, Jamie Palmiotti and Mark Morales. I know Palmiotti and Quesada did a lot together. So now she thinks that Daredevil killed her dad, and she has the gun that he did it with. and she's talking. I don't know what she's saying here. But just the art is cool. She's doing some like shadow puppets. Again, really good like hand drawings. And that, see, like that could be a great thumbnail image. That's so good. That's so good. I redrew all these pictures in ballpoint pen somewhere. She puts some paint on her face in the form, shape of her hand. She taping herself up. She's ready to do some shit. I like that she puts her, the devil horns and is showing the devil in the shadow. Oh my God, still with the art. Like, I don't even care about, like, the story. I mean, it's a good storyline, but this art is just so fucking amazing. Oh my God, another good, what could be a good thumbnail? Ugh. So good. Was she doing a performance here? Yeah, she was doing a performance in front of an audience. Was Daredevil at this that she invited him to? So she's doing a performance, but this is what's going on in her mind. Oh, so good. So people are clapping, but then it goes to this page and at Kingpin, and it says flashback, and big surprise to no one, it was Kingpin who killed her father. And he promised he makes him promise that you'll take care of his daughter. So that was like 20 years ago. And her dad was dead. Her dad died, and it was Kingpin. Cool image. This is the image from the cover. I worked at a place, Robert and I both did. We worked at a Michael's Arts and Crafts, arts and crafts store. And there was a frame shop, and there would be all pieces of art that would come through to get framed up professionally. And one of the guys there, they showed me a picture of this, and to get it framed, it had it has the artist's signature, but it wasn't Quesada. It wasn't any of these signatures on it. And it wasn't, and it was in gold. And I was like, I don't think that's any of the artists. That's probably some fake signature, and someone just signed it and sold it to somebody for probably a lot of money. But maybe it was. All right. We'll do one more issue, and then that'll be the end of this episode, I think. So, getting to the next part. And so Daredevil's fighting Bullseye, right? I think this is old footage from somewhere. And Maya, God, is it Maya? What the fuck is her name? Why don't they say her name anywhere? God. But she's watching the video of Daredevil and Bullseye fighting, so she's studying both their techniques, because she's pissed off at Bullseye at Daredevil, and if she can copy Daredevil and how he fights, and the same with Bullseye, that's going to be fucking hard to deal with. She has this pen in her mouth, and she sees Bullseye throwing a card there, so she was able to duplicate the same thing, sticks it into a picture of Daredevil here. So she's preparing, and she's pumping some iron. She's getting ready to start some shit. Daredevil. And he had talked to Foggy about seeing the guy who had died, but he thought he had slain him again. But they find out that the guy who died has a twin. So twin assassins, twin, whoever these guys are. So they was able to get this other guy to probably go on record. We're going to indict Wilson Fisk, kingpin of crime. Yeah, he's going to help nail Fisk for his brother's murder. So they're still talking. There's these guys working on something here, and one of them is on the phone, and he says, "Tell the fat man I got something for you." I don't know what they're all talking about. Just about what they're doing. They're going to take down the kingpin, testify in court, all that shit. So, meanwhile, Daredevil and Echo. Again, I'm trying to find her name. Somewhere. Say her name, god damn it. But they're on a date. You know, he thinks with his dick. Dick devil. And he's like expecting some kind of scheme out of her. She doesn't know that he's Daredevil. She's like, it's Matt Murdock, right? She's after Daredevil, not Matt Murdock. He's expecting a scheme out of her or something like that, but she's not lying. Her heartbeat is normal. I can detect no physical sign of deception. And she talks about she knows your dad, battling Jack Murdock. I've seen tapes of his. And then she's like, they're just having coffee. So then, like, all this talking is making me hungry. So they go get some food. Coffee turns to lunch. Now it goes to her inner monologue. And she talks about how the way he talks, he's articulate, he talks with a purpose. His lips are hypnotic. Sometimes he jerks around like he hears a loud noise the way a cat does. So they're both into each other. He's looking at her here. She's looking at him here. He's blind. She's deaf. I wonder where... Oh, yeah, it happens back here. So they go through a stroll through the park. You know, just young love. Like, they're just so into each other. He's so cute. Thank you for making the perfect smelling person. He thinks she smells wonderful. Hook and arms. Good drawing, you know, must be Central Park. Never been. They're eating. They get more food. Get some hot dogs. So they're just, romance is blossoming. And, she still, cuts to her when she was training because she's still watching videotapes, They go see a movie. And this is a funny little moment. He's blind, so he can't see, but she can't hear what they're saying. I tell her what they said when the speaker is off screen, and she tells me what they're doing. It's like that Miracle Ear commercial, but 10 times worse. So she's like, what did he say? He said, snoochie boochie, Brody Nucci. She's like, why did he say that? I don't know. What's on the screen? It's like, now it's the guy looking at the sailboat picture, and Stan Lee is there. And these guys are getting mad at them. So they went and saw Mallrats, the Kevin Smith movie. So that's funny. Back there it says Spider-Man, it says Ash. I don't, whatever. They're eating popcorn, they're spilling the popcorn. I don't know. They're just fucking happy. And somehow the popcorn gets on his... She dumps it on him. She starts eating the popcorn from my hair. I'm laughing so hard that I break the stitches and blood starts running down my face. That's fucking creepy. Gets popcorn in it. They're just having fun. She's like bandaging him up. They're just into each other, right? And she's still flashing back to moments of her just training, and they kiss. They're having a good time. Goes on some still crazy cool art. Just them going to dinner. I don't know if this is all on the same day, a different day, or what's going on. This is signifying like you see the music notes here, like they showed at the beginning from him. Just having a great time. I hear her hand tapping the window in a wave goodbye. So he can't see her, but he can hear her, and she's tapping the window to wave goodbye to him. It's a bittersweet echo, because her name is Echo. She's talking. She's back at her apartment. Today I met a blind man who opened my eyes. I met someone I could feel like a speaker against my chest. Someone that made me realize that the answers aren't everything. I should enjoy the questions. someone that makes adulthood seem fun. So she's actually happy for once, but she's like, I need to close the book on childhood. So she has to, like, she's still training. She's listening to like Sun Tzu. I don't know how you pronounce it. Five Tao to No Victory. So she's listening to some stuff about how to like beat someone's ass. All right, so we go to Daredevil flipping through the air in the night sky. He's happy. He's just, he's in love. And he's running along the rooftops. That's a cool image. I like always when they do black and then you see the red, like, D's and stuff. But something hits her out of nowhere. And there's Echo. Ah, it is Maya. Fuck you. I knew it. God. That was a fucking humongous moon. What is going on there? Jesus Christ. But a great drawing with the hand on her, the darkened silhouetted face, but the eyes and the mouth and like the painted hand on her face. Hello, villain. I have a performance for you, and you're the star. She throws throwing stars at him. But he knows it's her. She doesn't know it's him, but he knows it's her. He can smell the fuck out of her. He can smell her menstruation. But what is she doing here? And she's after his ass, right? She throws with the same delivery and accuracy as Bullseye because she's been studying him. She's chasing him. Daredevil doesn't want to fight her, but he doesn't want to fucking die. I have to close the distance, get her to read my lips so she can't... If he's too close, she can't read his lips. And he needs to try to talk her out of something. But if he's too far away, she can't read. He needs to get closer. So he jumps at her to get close, and she kicks him away. And he's like, that was one of my moves. That's cool. She throws the billy club. He catches it. A club like mine, make that too. She hits him with another one. It comes back. She catches it. Look at that awesome fucking drawing there. She has the gun taped to her chest. I didn't notice that. Yep. I'm the shadow of your past, and he's trying to like talk it out. But they're both moving. She can't read his lips. She's throwing a kick. He's blocking her punch. She kicks again. She's just... I don't know, like, how... Like, he's holding back. He has to hold back. How good would he be... or how good would he be doing if he wasn't holding back? But I like that he's... he's jumping down. There's a swing down here. He catches onto it, and she sees, right? And she's emulating it. And in her mind, again, is those childhood drawing style. She's mimicking him. He lands. She lands exactly because she's mimicking him there. But he still has his billy club. He throws it. Just bam! Hits her. Connects with her right in the chest. And he doesn't want to hurt her. He goes, are you okay? She still can't see him. Cracks him over the head with the teeter-totter board. Just like brings it up into his mouth. And then she steps on the other end, and it brings up the other side to hit him again. And then she punches him. Whap! Just clocks him right across the face. Then she pulls out the gun. And great drawing, great art. Recognize this gun, punk? It's the same one you used to kill my father. And it's like, at least she doesn't smoke. I couldn't stand it if she smoked, like if she was a smoker. So that's the end of issue 3. I'm going to stop it there. About halfway in. There's a lot more to go over, but I don't want to make this video too long. So, sorry, I'm not too familiar with the storyline. I've read it like once or twice a while ago, and then I would only look through this and just marvel at the art. It's so good. Joe Quesada, it's just, him in the style of David Mack in these places. It's just such good drawings. I can't even get over it. How does he do that? Robert, tell me, like, how does he do this kind of art? What techniques does he use? But here we are. We're David Mack, his style in Daredevil and Quesada's art. And David Mack is a really nice guy. I had the pleasure of meeting him once. He did, it wasn't a convention, but he did an art show, and he had an art gallery at the Salt Lake City Public Library years ago, and me and my buddy got to go and see him and go on a tour with him as he talked about his art, and I was able to ask him questions about his time with Marvel, and like, did they let him, you know, his style is so crazy. Like, even the later stuff when David Mack would draw, he drew some issues of Daredevil that had Echo and Wolverine in it. But he has such a tremendously unique style. Like, was there any pushback? But he's just like a nice guy. He's fucking handsome. He's a tremendous artist and writer. It's like, dude, I was hoping he'd be mean, like an asshole or something, just so there'd be something wrong with him. But I don't know. Some guys got it all. So we'll pick up the rest of this book. I'll try and read through it a little bit more to have more details on the story. But yeah, there it is. Daredevil, Parts of a Whole. Fill her parts of a hole, I'm sure he'd like. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.